Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Jonny Sue is on those 1s and 2s over there. Sorry, thank you to all who joined us earlier. And thank you to all who are on our ROKFIN as well as our YouTube. If you haven't joined our ROKFIN, please do ROKFIN and go over like the Convo Couch. And if you got a few bucks to help us out, $9.99 to endorse the Convo Couch. And that means you get premium content from everyone. Right, John? I'm saying it right. What's that? No ads. Ad-free. That's right.
That's like the main awesome thing about that. Because I hate the ads.
Yeah, everybody hates the friggin' ads.
Yeah.
Fam, we got a show today.
Yeah.
It's a quick show because we got something to do after. We'll kind of talk about that. But something serious has happened out there in the real world. Let's start with Donald Trump. What's going on with Donald Trump?
So, okay, this is important to discuss because a lot of people are going to be, even a lot of our friends are going to be, and I've seen it, are going to disagree with us right here. I mean, I say us because I have a feeling I know where you stand on this.
Oh, yeah.
But we're journalists. We're indie media. We're constantly under the threat of censorship and suppression. So when I see Twitter going down on Donald Trump and quote, fact checking him, I have a little bit of hesitancy as to what that means. And here's the thing. We can fact check Trump. We can literally say, Trump, you're lying, you're wrong, which he wasn't entirely lying. He manipulated things to talk about the voting by mail. Voting by mail, I don't trust voting in this country, period. So there is some element of vote by mail having its own issues, right? He was turning it around and saying all these things. And Jesse Ventura actually called him out on it in a way that was good. And we can show that in a minute. But my whole point is, if you let a Silicon Valley company decide what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed, you start going down a slippery slope. And this started all with Alex Jones way back when he was suppressed and all of that. And all of the left, the majority of them were like, oh yeah, I hate Alex Jones, he's a racist, da 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 da. And okay, he may be lying, but that's still his freedom of speech. He can still get on there and talk about monkeys and aliens and whatever the hell he wants to talk about. That's his right. Freedom of speech takes a precedent over what Twitter has to say. And if you are demanding censorship of Donald Trump just because you don't like him, you are part of the problem, especially when there's all these leftists on Twitter that complain about all these leftist pages getting taken down, that complain about YouTube taking down independent media channels, then turn around and say, yay, I'm so glad you censored Trump.
Yep.
Where is the logic in that?
Yeah, there's no logic whatsoever, and this is what we talk about. This is where the left is very, very weak.
Yep.
Especially the establishment. It's one of their tools to censor people, and that's straight up fascism. If the state is making sure that their word is bond and nobody else's word can be said, whether it be wrong or not, you know what I'm saying? That is a violation of our civil liberties, and it's a very dangerous, slippery slope. You know what? I'm glad this is happening, fam. You know why? Because if I was Donald Trump, I'd just kind of, okay, you want to do that? Now YouTube and Twitter will be managed by the FCC, and they'll kick it to Ajit Pai. And I'm not an Ajit Pai friend, but you know what? They'll make sure there's more transparency in YouTube doing what they're doing. He has the power to fuck with them, too, as well. And, you know, this isn't like somebody we're going to talk about later on dropping a suit. You know what I'm saying? This is someone who, you know, he can be a madman, right, Donald Trump? So, I mean, he'll kick it to the FCC. Do we have to change the FCC? Yes. But I'm sick and tired of YouTube, Twitter, all these social medias and Silicon Valley being the ones who get to dictate what our civil liberties should be, what could be said and what cannot be said. So enough is enough. This is disgusting. This is so friggin' bad, people. I hope you realize that, because I think a lot of people on the left, the neo-progressives, aren't going to realize how dangerous this is, fam.
They're cheering
this is dangerous.
For it. They're cheering for it. And here's the thing. I don't agree necessarily with Pasta's stance. This is where I disagree with him. I don't think the government, big government, or a private entity should have any say as to what our freedom of speech is. That's the whole point. That's what a lot of people argue. A lot of people on the libertarian side. We don't want big government to tell us what to say. But we also don't want a big Silicon Valley tech company telling us what to say. And people retort, well, it's a private company. Yeah, and so this freedom of speech is a right. It's our right. It's our human right. Nobody should take advantage of it. And so when you are criticizing somebody like Donald Trump, you have to make sure that you can criticize him and say it the right way, but you don't have to necessarily demand for more censorship.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think the real solution is to make it a public utility, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, in any way, shape, or form. The thing is, when they punish us, any type of content creators, they don't even have to tell us why. They don't even have to be transparent about it.
Nope.
So, maybe if they have to start becoming transparent about it and they have to understand, they always go to, it's what do they say? It's an algorithm and stuff that kind of pulls you up, whatnot. Well, somebody wrote that algorithm, okay? Somebody planted that. And time after time after time, they use their platform to promote their establishment fucking imperialistic narrative while telling us, the truth tellers, to shut up and shadow banning us and docking us pay and not letting us make a living off it. Johnny.
They don't censor Joe Biden.
No.
That's the thing. Exactly.
Yeah. Like if you're going to do it, at least do it fairly.
You have to do it for everybody.
Potentially misleading. That should be put on all of Joe Biden's tweets.
Yeah. The way they put that little warning on the bottom with the COVID shit or the Epstein shit, they should do it to Joe Biden.
That's the thing. Every single, pretty much the majority, at least 75% of Twitter would have their accounts taken down, especially the pundits and the politicians that literally lie to people. CNN, MSNBC, everybody. Everybody would have a strike because a lot of this is propaganda for the establishment. So if you're going to take down Donald Trump for misinformation, then you have to literally take down Joe Biden for misinformation, Nancy Pelosi, Neera Tanden, Simone Sanders, all of these people that have literally lied over and over again on Twitter. That's it. It has to be like that. And I don't want to hear leftists complaining about leftist accounts or getting their Twitter taken down by some K-Hive Karen when because when it affects you, it sucks. But just because you don't like Donald Trump doesn't mean you change the law to fit your narrative. That's not how this works.
They look at it, it's like, we won, we're right, we're the ones who are the voice of reasons. We have to, and that's, I know that's what but that's the mentality they have. Yeah. And Deep Space says CONVO Couch would have 500,000 subscribers if you guys weren't shadow banned by YouTube. Well, Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, is a big Hillary Clinton supporter, and fam has not been nice to Hillary Clinton, so therefore they suppress us and whatnot.
Fam.
By the way, Allison Irvin's over on
Hi, Allison.
She's on the ROKFIN. Allison, Irvin, we love you. When you get a picture of that shirt, what we sent you, please send it over. We love to see that.
And fam, you mentioned Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for us, and fortunately for her, Tulsi Gabbard has dropped her defamation lawsuit against her, citing COVID-19, citing that it's more important to focus on that than it is to, focus on Hillary Clinton. This is a kind of a downer because this is one of the things that people were like, wow, super excited. Finally, someone has taken Hillary Clinton. Realistically, we knew it was going to be difficult because Hillary Clinton is one of the most powerful people in this country, in the world, perhaps. She has a lot of people that do her bidding. And it was still nice to see somebody finally do it. Somebody say all the things we've been feeling. Yeah. And how do you feel about that?
I think it's sad. I mean, Jackson Facts put a comment up right underneath it and says, "What a failure of a person. She's dropped the ball on the only things I liked about her. Rhetoric doesn't mean shit if you don't follow through with action." Well, I thought this lawsuit was not as important as going against Google, what we just talked about before.
Right.
Excuse me for stuttering. It's not as important as that lawsuit, but it still is important because this whole Russian Red Scare is still running wild and rampant all across fucking America. The Democratic establishment is still using this as an excuse.
Yep.
So it is kind of sad that she dropped this case. Once again, I'm sure we don't know the nuances and what's going on in the room, but either way, this is disappointing. It was almost as disappointing as 666, HR being a co-sponsor. So some moves, some questionable moves from the Congresswoman as of late. It's not a move I'm going to cancel her on, but it's not a good move, fam.
Well, I just want to tie this again to the Russian asset thing, right? That's one of the reasons why I'm so against censorship of somebody like Donald Trump or anybody for that matter. This isn't a defense of Donald Trump. This is a defense of free speech. Let's not mistake that, because Hillary Clinton accused Tulsi Gabbard of being a Russian asset. And one of the many reasons she took her on this lawsuit was because she could literally do that to anybody. And she has. I mean, Hillary Clinton can get away with tweeting that somebody's a Russian asset. So it has half of the Democratic Party. You want to talk about misinformation? Anything relating to Russiagate is misinformation in terms of the Russians hacking our entire elections and colluding with Donald Trump to beat Hillary Clinton. All of that is complete conspiracy theory. I don't really see people advocating for that to be taken down. I see Bernie supporters, progressives, anybody on the left, Jill Stein, being called a Russian asset all the time, being called Putin bots all the time.
Yep.
Why aren't we demanding those people be taken down? This is why that lawsuit was so important, because it also was pushing that precedent that you can't accuse people of being things that they're not, because then this will set a precedent and affect everybody else in return.
Yeah.
So that's why it's disappointing. And, she really just let out a big spark, especially when she was running. Everybody was really excited. I still keep reliking that tweet because that tweet still keeps getting
Which she went after, yeah.
by Twitter.
They keep scrubbing the likes.
They keep scrubbing the likes.
Yeah.
This isn't like, we're not making this up. Everybody who's like that tweet, you can go check. It's consistently, mine is being scrubbed. And I guess her legal team said Wednesday that Gabbard was confident the suit had merit, but her first focus is needed elsewhere during the coronavirus pandemic. And
see, that doesn't make sense to me. What do you're not going to pay attention to that? You give it to the lawyers.
Yeah.
Maybe it was finances.
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows? I think more information will come out in the days to come. But once again, it's kind of disappointing because this was big for a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of us was like, enough is enough. The people who really despised the Russian scare, because we knew what it was from the get-go. It was pure propaganda from the deep state CIA to start a coup against Donald Trump. And even though we don't like Donald Trump, a lot of us over here are not crazy about him. Some of us are really not crazy about him. Not mentioning any names, but you know what I'm saying? He was the rightfully elected representative of the United States to become the president. And for the intelligence community to go after him the way they did was really disgusting.
Especially right after rigging a primary and then 4 years later subsequently rigging another.
And the Russian scare was the mechanism which they did it, fam.
Yep.
It was the mechanism. They're the evil.
It was a distraction. It was a distraction from really looking at exactly what happened.
Yeah.
The election integrity. And we're still not talking about it. We still have people, including some burners out there, saying, well, Joe Biden just, I guess, resonated with more people.
Yeah.
I can't even say that without laughing out loud. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Come on, you're a lying
dog-faced pony soldier. We didn't try hard enough. Our policies just weren't resonating with people, even though literally nearly 70% of America on both sides of the aisle support a universal health care type of system.
And Nancy Pelosi's pushing to ensure and strengthen COBRA for you out there. Not Medicare for all. This is the Democratic Party, right? I mean, it's going to be funny how the Democratic Party is going to put forth their two major biggest issues on the left, supposedly from the Democratic Party. The liberals there, the progressives, the neo-progressives, whatever they are. Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. And your candidate is against Medicare for all, said he would veto it, and was taking fracking money.
But don't worry, you guys. We need to work really hard to get some delegates who are going to provide no opposition, because they're already told Joe Biden they're going to vote for him anyway. That's why they were chosen. So we're really going to get Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. Yeah. I mean,
this was the time to
call
get it.
Call me a Debbie Downer, or I'm being realistic here. I'm being realistic. I'm so sick of people acting like this shit matters. That doesn't matter. We should be putting our strength and being out there protesting outside of the electorate, demanding what we want, not sitting and trying to play nice with corruption that we were set out to face and destroy. Now we're just little minions of the establishment.
Yes. What does that even matter? Remember when they asked Bernie Sanders if you think you would have been Trump?
I'm asking you again.
I'm asking you again. What does it even matter?
I
Guys,
just love your Bernie one. I don't know why.
My Bernie is probably because I'm a New Yorker from that same region. That's why it's easier. I think my Jesse Ventura is the best.
Yeah, the Jesse Ventura was pretty good.
Well, speaking of Minnesota, and this is a hard one to stomach, guys. Really, to tell you the truth, I didn't watch the video when I first heard the news because I knew it would upset me. Yeah. I saw Fiorella's tweet, and a lot of times I won't agree with you when sometimes you say, if you think that this is wrong, then you're part of the problem. And I won't agree with you on certain things. Mm-hmm. But I 1,000% Fiorella agree with you right now. If you think that Colin Kaepernick's kneeing was a problem, and you don't think that this fucking kneeing, excuse my French, is a problem, then
This
you
is a-
are part of the problem.
Yeah, that was a really good juxtaposition of it because
Look at this.
this is why he kneels. In
7
essence.
minutes. 7 minutes on the guy's friggin' neck. I don't care if he caught the guy. And once again, this guy was an alleged suspect. Alleged. He was in his car. All right. Whatever the case may be. And I don't care if somebody committed murder. That is not what you do. This is America.
Right.
Everybody's entitled to due process in their day in court. You are to be detained, not murdered.
Where's our Miranda rights?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, let's be real. And another thing that really bothered me about this was because of Eric Gardner. If you guys recall, he said, "I can't breathe." The same words were echoed. And then Erica Gardner, his daughter, who was an staunch Bernie supporter, unfortunately passed away. And all this time has passed, and we're still seeing the same exact thing play out day in and day out. I mean, we were just still on Ahmaud Murray, and now we're here, and every day it's something new. And why are police policing so many people? We saw what Jonny did yesterday, the brilliant thing. Why are police doing this right now at a time where there's a pandemic? Shouldn't they not be doing this? Not even, I mean, this isn't the time to do any sort of supermassive surveillance of people committing murder. People aren't just going to be out there in the streets like normal still.
Yeah. You know, something funny, this makes me just think about that time I did go to a libertarian household where for Tulsi, she was throwing, it was the one where she called me out when you told her I wasn't at the workout. But anyways, I was in a room with a bunch of libertarians and a lot of progressives who was supporting Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
And it was like they started talking and whatnot, and they didn't agree on certain things. But this is the connection that needs to be made. You know, those people on the left who talk about police brutality, well, libertarians are against mass incarceration, and they're those ones you see on those videos. Sir, are you detaining me? Am I free to go? No, I don't feel comfortable with this. They understand the letter of the law, and libertarians don't like cops either. You know what I'm saying? And that's a bond they should have together. That's why when I say that you got to let us in the door, they want to have reform. They don't want to see anything like this happen. They hate cops too as well. And I'm not saying just overall, but it's really getting hard not to overall hate the police department the way everything is. The systemic racism within that. I mean, look at that situation. That guy was treating that man like an animal. And that's what he was doing. And that's disgusting. And I don't care. He got fired with pay. No, he needs to be arrested, charged, and convicted of murder. Enough is enough.
Murder, nothing less. I mean, that is absolutely what it is.
Cold-blooded murder, fam.
There was no need for that. So, of course, obviously, as a result of George Floyd, people started protesting. But first, let's warn you guys, this is a very graphic video, by the way. Yeah.
I'm about to die this thing. Relax. Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my dick. I can't breathe shit.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man.
I will.
Get up, get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole car, man. Just get up, get in the car.
Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
I can't.
Gave y'all the opportunity to get in, bro. I told you can't win.
My knee.
You can't win, man.
I'm through.
I mean, seriously. The FBI is investigating?
What's there to investigate? It was pretty clear. The guy couldn't breathe. He was telling him to get up as he had his knee on him, which would obviously make him unable to get up the whole time. That's what I don't get. Why he's taunting him like, get up, get up. How can he get up when you have your entire weight on the guy? Like, I mean, to me, this is nothing short of a modern day type of lynching. And it sucks to say that because it's like, you don't want to think this country's still there. This country is very much still there. I honestly, I think it's also not, obviously it's a very racial issue, but I also want to say it's a power issue. Our law enforcement here in this country is people that are handpicked, that aren't too smart, that respect authority, that they're not really tested psychologically to endure this job. It's like Pasta said the other day, it's much easier to be a cop than it is to really be a lawyer. And it's insane. Yeah. It's insane. It's also, it's a lot of things. I
really can't even say much. It's hard to watch those things, man. It's hard to watch those fucking things. And enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. We really need a serious change. You know what I'm saying? Across the board. I mean, even from just the perspective of training and how we do things and stuff. Your job is to detain people. I really think that officers should have to go through like a year of a keto and being physically fit, of just bringing people down in a peaceful way,
yoga,
and locking
meditation,
them up and,
some other thing.
Well, that's the other part of it. They also have to go through really serious psychological training of talking. They should all, they have those hostage negotiators that come in and stuff in their job. Every police officer should go through that whole thing, talking to people. I mean, it was just terrible.
This is why people don't like cops. This is why people don't trust cops. This is why people want guns, because how do you protect yourself when you are a constant target? Now, obviously, as a result, people were protesting en masse. Thousands of people, it seemed, were protesting all over Minneapolis and all over other states. And today, there's going to be several Black Lives Matter protests. But let's take a look at some of these videos that Johnny's going to put up of the protests.
Hell yeah, we are.
I just want to say the initial reaction for a lot of people to this is, why are they throwing things? They're being violent. They're doing this. They're doing that. How many times does it take? Right? And I totally understand that point. How many times does it take before you lose it? Because, I mean, how many more people have to die? How many more Black people in particular have to die at the hands of police to where it affects you? So you're like, okay, that's it. They're not listening to legislation. They're not listening to our peaceful protests. And this isn't even that unpeaceful. I mean, look at this. That's a lot of people. Most of them are just marching. Most of them, the people are angry. I can't tell people not to be angry when nothing's getting done.
Enough is enough. They've gone too far. The police officers are just a hand of the elites. All the laws are written for the rich to exploit the poor and to throw them in jail and make money off their incarceration and make money off their misery. It's a crime to be poor. You know what I'm saying? And they do this. They hire these fucking types of cops. They allow this to happen. Enough is enough now. Enough is enough. And I don't give any shit if anybody's sitting there saying these people are being violent and it's wrong and we need peaceful protests. You know what? I don't know if it's at that point anymore, because, I mean, I'm not inciting violence, but I'm not going to hold anything against any of these people for losing it on the cops. Enough is enough now. Especially they have,
it's just been nonstop.
Until the man is arrested and charged with murder,
which should have happened right away,
there will be a price to pay. And the people of Minnesota are saying it loud and clear. You know what I'm saying? And believe you, we're going to go out there today and stand with our people out there today, because this is just disgusting. It's really, I mean, it's so hard to see what happened to that man, George Floyd. And we experienced the stuff the other day. Johnny, went out and covered something, in El Monte, the cops just beating people. Beating people down in the streets, my mistaken identity, and for being filmed. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
It happens a lot, specifically too in poor communities and communities of color. Why? Because, so we have this long history of pretty much putting communities of color, they're poor. So we're not helping to lift poverty, which in turn leaves these people with a tendency to be poor, which in turn leaves them with a tendency to have a criminal record for whatever it is they have. So again, you can even go back and say, maybe this guy is guilty. Maybe he stole. Maybe Ahmaud was looking to be a burglar. Maybe all of these things were true. That does not mean they deserve to die.
Yeah.
And that's even saying maybe, because the chances of that, we don't even know. Why are we so quick to assume that these people are guilty? Why is it the burden of proof on the victim instead of the person that has all the power, that has the control, that has the weapons? Like, why do we turn it around like this? I mean, there has to be a point where even if, if you're not necessarily fond of organizations like Black Lives Matter, if you don't understand why they're there, if you feel like they're too much of an agitator, you have to say this is wrong, regardless of how you feel about those organizations. This should not be happening to anybody, but it's obviously happening at a disproportionate rate to Black people. And I believe the media obviously exploits all these things, but nobody can say that this is being exploited. I mean, this happened. I mean, these people are that angry, and they should be. Why the hell are we also throwing gas bombs and rubber bullets on protesters? I'm asking, where the hell was this reaction when people were protesting also in huge numbers for the reopening of the country?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like, I think it's definitely a race issue for sure, but it's also like, who's doing the asking?
Yeah.
Like, who's is it a rich Republican county? Chances are no, it's not.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of anger and a lot of hate right now. What's going on with these people in Minnesota too, as well. They're feeling it, and yeah, it's hard to see. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen today too, as well, because I'm saying, if I know there are going to be restless people in LA. And shit might go down.
Well, because it happens in LA all the time, and Jackie Lacey is still the DA. This is all up to the DA. At the end of the day, the DA has the power to say, I'm going to prosecute a killer cop. And when the DA doesn't do their job, then what you have is what we have here, that you need people like Black Lives Matter and activists to say, no, Jackie Lacey, we need to get rid of them. And she may very well be removed in this November. Yeah. That's what it's looking like. We did it in San Francisco up north with Chesa Boudin, who became the DA. And this is a socialist that became the DA, somebody that's really into criminal justice reform. We saw it with Larry Krasner up north in Pennsylvania. Yeah. And so this is something that we have to look at. This is why whoever we choose as the DA is so important.
And Redfish here shows a stark difference between how they handle this Dylan Roof, who shoots up a black church, killing 9, calmly arrested here. Yeah. Patrick Cruzes kills 23 at a Walmart, predominantly Latinos, calmly arrested here. Eric Garner, allegedly selling cigarettes illegally, choked to death by police while he shouts, I can't breathe. George Floyd, allegedly wrote a bad check, choked to death after a police kneels on his neck while shouting, I can't breathe.
Yeah. Was that it, Johnny? It was a bad check?
They said forgery.
Forgery.
Which
and they put forgery out there to make it sound like the guy was using fake bills.
It could have been anything.
It's a poor man maybe writing a check because he needs fucking food.
It's the same thing. That's why I had such a big issue with the whole terror thing, because bouncing a check, like any sort of these things could be on some sort of record, and then before, as you're being killed or raped or shot, let us assess if you are worthy of any sort of credibility. Like, what it would make it okay if he forged a check to kill him, right? Like, that's it. It doesn't, regardless of all of that, you guys. This is not okay.
He had a super chat contribution. Thank you for the super chat contribution, Matt. Always appreciated on this couch. The protest was peaceful. The protesters marched to the precinct to be met with cops in riot gear.
That's the thing. The cops have riot gear. This is what nobody talks about. The cops are heavily armed. These protesters have nothing. We saw what happened in where was that? It's, North Carolina, in Charleston, where Heather Heyer was murdered by a Nazi. And then the cops were taking the side of the white supremacists. This is what I've been to protests. The cops always are protecting those people. It's just really interesting. Oh, because they usually have the permit to be there. So it's like, okay, what? Why does that happen like that? I'm just sick and tired of these mind games.
The big angry crowd makes me happy. You know what? It's necessary.
It's bittersweet. I mean, it makes me happy in the sense that finally, If this is what it takes, good. But like, it sucks that this had to happen. I mean, we do need this. We do need everybody, not just select groups of Black Lives Matter. We need everybody, every color, every race, everybody, especially working people, because all of us have more of a likelihood of falling prey to law enforcement than a rich person that can just get out of it and pay off a lawyer and make sure they take care of it. That's the thing. Poor people are they have money problems. Who knows? This guy maybe had a money problem. I mean, this is a pandemic. People are hurting, and we need to take that into consideration.
It doesn't make a difference, too. He can commit murder. He deserves his day in court. Your job as a police officer is to detain. That's it. And that was disgusting. Johnny, what does that say? Until the killing of black mothers' sons become as important as the killing of white mothers' sons, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until this happens. Johnny, the mayor, what did he say?
So the mayor
of
he
Minnesota,
just basically said that he called for the arrest of the man who
Why
murdered
is the man
Floyd.
who killed George Floyd not in jail? We need the governor to say that. What elected officials have said that in Congress? Who are the Minnesota? Where is friggin' Amy Klobuchar?
I think she did have a statement.
Did she?
Yeah.
I hope so.
She recently just released a statement.
Just recently? That should have been happening immediately. Once again, she can go down as somebody who put an innocent kid, a young kid, in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
which what she did. She still hasn't made amends for that too. I bet you, Kamala Harris should be watching too as well.
That's the thing.
Jesus
They're all
Christ.
cops.
I bet you Kamala Harris might have been happy that Twitter was going to take down Donald Trump.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
But shit like this happened all up and down the state. Her state while she was the DA and the AG, and she sucks. By the way, we have 14 viewers on ROKFIN. Thank you so much for those people who are on ROKFIN. Allison, Tony watches closely. We love you. And I believe there's Jarrett Trezzo, my man. And yeah, that's it. Guys, join in the chat. Join in the ROKFIN. We love you. And Johnny, do you have anything else on this subject before we get to the next one? Couple videos.
Murder charges are not going to stick. They pulled that trick on us too many times. We want these people to be prosecuted for manslaughter because them charges going to stick, and that sentence going to be long still. And that's what we want. Because guess what? George has never have his life back again. This man can serve 15 years in prison and still get out and still be able to continue life. It's going to be hard, but he still can breathe. He can still talk to his family. George can't. So some change needs to happen.
Do we have information on the LA one at all?
Yeah, we're just going to post, you guys, this is where we're going in a little bit. We should probably get going.
Yeah, we have to get going, guys. Really quick, the last one. And if you're down in near LA, come down there and join us. Karen. We love this terminology. Karen.
Yes.
Karen, I got the biggest tree in a lot who threatened cops.
Let's Johnny, real quick, let's just play the video. Let's just play the video. It's so dumb.
She can get charged with animal abuse.
Yeah, that's what I care about. The fucking animal.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop. Sorry.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Oh, God, our dog.
Excuse me?
Okay. So real quick, I just want to say I wouldn't approach someone and tell them to keep their dog on the leash.
You got to hear this.
What did she say?
There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
God, the fucking dog.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the Ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
And he was saying thank you when he put the dog on the leash. He asked nicely, "Can you please put your dog on the leash?"
Yeah, he did.
He was a
ask
bird
nicely.
watcher, I think
Yeah.
they said.
Well, she was supposed to do it. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to tell a person to do that, but her reaction was ridiculous, and she knew what she was doing. She was saying, "Oh, there is an African American man threatening me," and the way she said it, she was acting like he was actually threatening her. And unfortunately, as we have just seen, when you do that to a person like that, you literally might end up killing them.
Yeah.
And she got fired, by the way. This is the good part of the story. She was fired from her job because
Where did she work?
God, I can't remember.
Does it say, Johnny? I hope she had a good job. At Franklin Templeton. I don't even know what that is. Who knows? But that's cool. I'm glad she got fired. And let me tell you something. He had every reason.
He just asked nicely.
Every reason.
Too.
No, listen, if some people are afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
They don't like dogs. The other day, there was a person at the, where I was at, where there was a restaurant, and he had the dog off the leash. And then one person said, "Can you please put the dog on the leash?" And he had every right to say that. So did this gentleman right here as well. Yeah. Good.
An investment. Typical Karen.
An investment, yeah. Please, investment firm acting like they have standards, please.
Yeah.
Fam, we got to get out of here. Anything else?
Do.
Johnny, anything else? Nothing? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Remember, the new format, we are going to be having the whole restream up on ROKFIN and on Patreon only. We'll be taken down off of Twitter. We'll be taken down off YouTube. Will be shareable clips on both YouTube, ROKFIN, and you can get out there and share it. But so thank you very much to the 95 Patreons and everybody who watched us today. Am I missing any super chats? Oh, there was one. I almost missed it. Get up, stand up, says Jim Garrison.
Yeah.
Stand up for your rights.
Yeah.
Get
Bob.
up, stand up.
Marley.
Don't give up the fight for Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella.
Johnny Sue on those ones and twos.
Helmo out. See you on the streets.